Hey, I'm Jeffrey.
I'm Crystal, and you're just chilling with JK. We are a married couple
with 3 beautiful kids
from Brooklyn, New York. Come chill as we discuss
whatever the we want.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year's, y'all.
Thank you so much for joining us on our first episode of our podcast.
Yeah, this is our first podcast ever, 2022.
We've been talking about doing a podcast, and I have been telling Jeffrey no, because I just felt like, why should we do one? But he finally convinced me, and I agree, why not?
It didn't take much. It didn't take much because our lives that we were doing before, we were just live and uncut and answering questions on the fly too. So it was only a matter of time for us to get to this point of actually recording and sharing our thoughts and opinions with more viewers or listeners.
I'm excited and nervous, but I'm ready. We have a lot of deep conversations, and sometimes we bring it to our vlog on our YouTube channel, or sometimes we'll do Instagram Live like Jeffrey mentioned. But we decided, whenever we do have a deep discussion, maybe we can bring it to our podcast. And so we're starting off this episode talking about, is this the life we really wanted or we imagined? And this came up because, this idea came up to have, to talk about because the other day I was mentioning to Jeffrey that, at that point in our lives, I was very sad and very, depressed. And he just randomly said, maybe you were mourning the life you thought you would have had at this point, in your life. And after he said that, I didn't really say anything, but I was like, oh wow, like that kind of makes sense. But it had me pondering for a couple of days. And so when I mentioned to him again, he didn't even remember saying that to me.
Yeah, no, it's not the fact that I don't remember saying it to you. It's the fact that it wasn't a memory that I needed to hold on to. It was more so something that just came out of me at that moment, and maybe it was something that you were thinking about for multiple days, and I guess God just sent a message through me to you, because I honestly don't remember saying those exact words, but I remember seeing something like that. And yeah, it was just like, oh, I did? Oh, all right. Yeah, it sounded like something I would say, but hey, it is what it is. But I'm glad you got the clarity that you needed from it. But on to you. You can continue saying what you were saying.
All right. So basically now, for this episode, we wanted to start off the new year, talking about things that, let's start over. So basically, when the new year happens, we all have these goals and these aspirations to complete before the end of the year. And so I thought this topic is very insightful because it's kind of shedding and letting go of what you thought your life would be, right? And the new year is happening. So now you're starting off the new year with being hopeful and okay, well, this never happened. What can I do now to either try to make it happen for the rest of my life, going forward? Should there be a time limit or whatever? Or should I just let it go and be at peace that it never happened? So we decided to first say what we thought our life would be like at this point in our life right now. And so we didn't tell each other what it would be, because we wanted it to be very genuine while we're discussing this on this podcast episode. So he said I have to go first. So
yeah, you could go first because My answers. I already know my dreams,
And
and my
I know
dreams.
mine.
You do. All right. If you want me to go first, I'm fine
No,
with going
I'm gonna go
first.
first because he said that, oh, his answer will probably change my answer. So I want him to hear
Yeah,
mine
I just didn't.
first.
I just didn't want to influence, any changes in your dreams. I know it could happen just naturally, but it's just I just didn't want to influence that part. Even though you have yours set in stone, but you probably be like, "Oh, I forgot about that," and then So I just want you to genuinely, you know,
So you don't think that you would
no,
change yours?
no, because I have two. I have two actually. I have two that I realized like as a kid growing up and as an adult realizing certain things and which I will explain when you're done and then from there to
So
now.
my what I imagine my life to be like at 35, I did imagine that I would be married. I did imagine that I would have kids. How many? I didn't really have a set amount. But I know that I did want to be a wife and I did want to be a mother. So as of right now, at the age of 35, I am a wife and I am a mother of three, right? So that did come true. In terms of where I saw my life career wise and living wise, it was definitely not where we're at now. I definitely saw us living in our house, not a huge house, but just like a comfortable size house, with our car, a family car, and maybe an extra car. I also saw us as active parents in our community and in our kids' schools. I saw us having our own shop slash studio slash kind of like a daycare area where our kids could be, or like even if we had employees for their kids to be there, because that was always a thing. We always wanted our children to be close to us when we're working if they're not in school. So in terms of having this space, like Jeffrey and I would obviously work together, that part is true. Just right now, we don't have the space to do all the creative work and have our shop and have a studio, right? That makes sense, I guess.
Yeah, it's not that we can't. It's
No, I'm not
just
saying that we can't. I said that it just didn't happen yet. So what I'm saying is at this point, at 35 years old, I expected us to
those
already
successes.
have those successes, right? Our own studio space slash store slash little area for kids, our kids. And also I thought that like we would be traveling more and like seeing the world and, just enjoying each other's company as a married couple more and not so much as being boggled down in just like the everyday gist of trying to become successful. We'd be very comfortable at this point in our lives. That's how I imagined us to be at age 35. I mean, we got like 75% of it. The rest of the percentage really falls on us purchasing our own home, having our own car, and getting our studio space, for our successful business.
Yeah, pretty much what's left out of your dream is our success in our creative life, not our
Yes,
marriage life or parenting life, pretty
right,
much.
correct.
All right. And it seems like your dream was started when we dated,
Yeah, it did.
because that's what it sounded like. Because he kept on saying we instead of I, so that's why I was just wondering, asking. Oh, yeah, interesting.
Because if you guys, obviously this is a new audience, so you guys don't know, but Jeffrey pushed me to follow my dreams. Like he motivated me, and I, you know, engulfed myself into fashion design and drawing more and just creating clothes. And then we eventually opened, our own boutique together. But we can dive deeper into that conversation in another episode. Where did you imagine yourself or us to be at 35?
All right, so
he's 33. So.
Yeah, I'm 33. Yes, I'm 2 years younger than my wife. And yes, let's start off with like I said, I had like two dreams, and my dream world was at first as a kid, like for myself. I remember like watching certain films that had guys with business suits and like should I wait for the siren to go by? They definitely hear the sirens. This is life in New York City, trying to record a podcast in Brooklyn. Anyway, let's get back to the dream. So my thoughts were, to have a business to go to be the boss and wear a different suit every day, and I would like color sort it, like I wear a brown on Monday with a black on Tuesday and stuff like that, like always fly, and like just be a businessman. That was like my dream as a kid. And then like as I got older, I would say like after high school, which we met by then, me realizing that I was kind of in limbo, and like I wasn't too sure what I wanted to do, but I knew it was something with tech. And I was like, I want to get into technology. And like, that's why I went and studied computer science and, and electrical engineering, which was like, what the hell is that? And like, I was taking stuff that I wasn't really too sure about until I ran into the camera again, because that's a long story. I'm not going to go back into how I started getting to film. But before we had our firstborn, Lucas, I realized that the type of success I wanted to have was owning a home and, just providing for my family. Like, that's all it was, and being a successful person as a creative. Like, shooting films and shooting commercials and stuff like that. And I'm at the point right now where I'm actually getting booked for commercials now, which we're in 2022. And it's amazing that I'm reaching what I dreamed of, other than creating stuff for myself. So now, my family life, it's perfect. It's exactly what I wanted. I wanted one woman and all my kids were one woman, because I'm the child out of wedlock. And that was like the number one goal for me too, to just make sure I solidify a family with a woman that I know I could, trust and love, and know that could be a great mother. So that was another goal. And as far as like during parenthood and evolving as a creative, my dreams gotten even bigger, because I feel like I could attain more than what I thought I was limiting myself on before. So now all of my dreams are pretty much, it will sound material like, but it's not just material things, because it just solidifies my success in like my grind, pretty much. So it's like all the rewards that I get for my grind from day one. and stuff like that. So, like getting a Tesla, or getting the Toll Brothers home, getting it may seem materialistic, like I said, but I definitely feel like those successes are the ones that I'm looking forward to now, because my foundation with love and care and children is solidified. So nothing can alter that, because we're all coming from the bottom to the top together. So there's no malice in between that. So just receiving all of our blessings other than health, because we have health too. Health is a blessing, and positive mindset. So yeah, that's all of my dreams and aspirations, if that was clear, because I tend to go off on a tangent and not be clear.
I just think that in terms of us being solidified as a couple and as parents is like very strong, because like you said, like now when we do receive those goals of purchasing a home, buying the car that we want, it's just like, wow, like we did it, right? Like, not that it's like the finality of like what we want to do before we die or something, but just in terms of like, wow, we actually made it, and like this is what we were yearning for. And even though we're not there yet, like I'm very excited for it to happen. I think that before my deal with mourning the loss of not being where I thought I would be at 35, it took a hold on me, because I felt like maybe I was probably on the path to it, but how I was going to get there, I wouldn't have been happy internally, because I was working somewhere that I wouldn't want to work. And, and then that aspect of my life would have crept into our foundation, right? And me being miserable at home, because I have to leave you guys to go be miserable somewhere else.
Yeah.
And I just,
sucks.
yeah. And I think that, me realizing, wow, like, I am mourning that loss, or I did mourn that loss of not being where I want to be too, because, at the time you think about what others think, what other people think of you, of like, wow, you're a wife, you're a mom, and you're just going to quit your job, or you're just going to go follow this goal. Like, no, you should be doing this instead. And I think I let that overrun my head. That led me deeper and deeper into of like, being sad and being depressed. And so now looking back, I am happy that I did go through all of that, because now like I just see everything so clear. I feel like all of that happened, especially too with kids being young, and like, yes, kids do feel your emotions and stuff.
Yeah, like the parents' energy and stuff like that.
Yeah,
yes.
your parents' energy.
Yeah.
But I feel like at that point, imagine if I would have waited till I was like 40 to like quit the job that I hated, then my kids would be seeing me go through all of that depression at a older age. Like they'll be what, like maybe 10, right? Like
Yeah,
Millie
by
would
then.
be 10.
Yeah.
And Lucas would be like 14, and like why is
Lucas
well,
would have been 12.
12,
Yeah.
yeah. Like feeling those emotions, seeing it, kind of internalizing it, and honestly, like as sad as I was before, I'm happy I did go through it at that point, because like I said, seeing everything so clear, like, listen, you're still young. You're 35. So what? Like, the world is changing. Like, literally, like, everything has been reset. And how are you going to view your life? And how are you going to continue living the rest of your life? Right? So for me, I'm not sad anymore about it, about where I thought I should be, because it can always change. Like life, that's what life is all about. You making choices, you doing the work to get to where you need to be. And I'm not saying that it's going to be difficult, but I mean, it's going to be easy, but the point is to just keep going, keep trying. We had this funny joke yesterday that, oh, we're just so successful at failing.
Yeah. Yeah, we
But
definitely did.
all those failures, like, even though
Were
we
lessons,
failed,
yeah.
they were lessons. And
And
our failures may be actually not failures to somebody, like
yeah.
whatever we did, maybe it would help them because maybe that was something that they didn't try and then it would help them. But I was just like, wow, like it's so crazy how like we could laugh about being failures, right?
Yeah, we're
Now.
pro failures, but
But technically, it's not really failing because we're still pushing ourselves to do what we thought that maybe we didn't do, or like looking back and seeing, okay, is this something that we failed, but then we just didn't try it again because maybe we were in the wrong environment, or, so honestly, like, even though I was mourning the loss of where I thought I would be, I'm happy I did experience that deep sadness because I never understood how people could be depressed and how people can be sad. And now I get it. Like, you just end up in a rabbit hole. And I'm happy that now, like, when I do feel sad, like, I realize that I'm getting sad and I get myself out of it so quickly.
Yeah.
Because of
I
the
told you about that,
spirals.
though.
Yeah. Like the spirals, I don't want to spiral again. I don't want to fall into that trap. And it's like, I also tell myself too, like, I think I cried all my tears of being sad. Like whenever I do feel like I'm going to be sad, like it just like my tears just magically like stop even trying to come out because it's like, no, you cried enough. It's time to like figure out how we're going to change this, whatever it is that you're feeling sad about. And I don't think I could have done that.
before.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I told you I haven't felt that feeling in a while too. Like feeling like, oh, I'm in a rut. When I be getting in the rut and I go ghost for a while, like meaning like creatively. So I haven't felt that in so long. It's not that I'm looking for it. I don't want to put it out in the universe like bragging about not feeling that feeling that all of a sudden I feel it again. So, universe, please maintain and understand that I'm just sharing information with our viewers, well, listeners, and please just let me continue rocking out and not feeling those ruts and stuff. So, yeah, everything's positive and on the up and up on my end right now, and yeah, there's nothing I could really complain about, but there's a lot we came from, and there's a lot to explain. So,
Yeah, I'm just like excited for the future. I feel like 2022 we will be accomplishing a lot. I definitely do see our house in 2022 and
Yes.
our car in 2022.
yeah, we're gonna get that whip. I want a Porsche too. Yeah, I want all of that. I want to make up for all of the years that I hustled and reap all the benefits of that grind. Like, yo, we're resilient, so it's natural for us when you marry a Haitian. No, but it's natural. It's natural for us to continue going. That's one thing we don't have is quit. And once we not saying that we never thought about quitting, but definitely, when you're in that moment of quitting, you realize how deep in you are, and you're like, I'm crazy for even thinking about quitting. Let's get back to work and then figure something out. And then we figure something else out. And like this right here, this is not a quitting situation. This was just something we just wanted to add to our plates because we realized we couldn't commit to those lives too. Them lives online on Saturdays. Remember, we did it for the whole month of March.
I don't think it's that
we did it every day.
We did it every day. I just think that
it's just, it was a lot. It was a lot on us, though.
It was a lot on us because we were doing remote learning in the beginning when we first started, and then afterwards in the summertime we started again for Saturdays. We did outdoors, but then it's the fact that we also don't have our personal space
too.
So I don't think it's really on us not wanting to do it. It's just more so personal space, which comes with a lot of our other projects that we want to do. It's just sometimes it's just not the right time. Like, yes, it is the right time, but then to continue it, it's not the right time because other things happen. Exactly. And I think I just like realized, like, you know, not to be so hard on us because sometimes we just can't control certain things, and maybe not right now. We can't do it. We can't do it right now, but maybe we can do it maybe a month from now or whatever. So that's why for me now, like just keeping in mind what our dreams are and just still completing it, I think is the best choice.
Exactly.
For us, not really to get bummed out that like, dang, we didn't complete it. You know, I just think that it's just not right now, right? So like our lives, our Instagram lives, like we can do it again, just not right now.
Yeah.
You know? And like Vegan on a Budget, our show, we have a full season.
And vlogging.
But it's just certain times, it's just not right now because, again, we don't have our own space. If you guys didn't know, obviously you guys don't know because it's our first episode.
It is.
We live with my mom in her house, so we're literally like, you know, filming right now at 11 p.m. on a weekday, you know, because this is just the quietest time available. And for our other shows, we used to just have to film our studio space, I guess, in quotations, in the living room for Vegan on a Budget. But it just became such a hassle with, like, you know, it being a communal space. So, you know, we wouldn't be able to really give that quality that we want to give because we're such like perfectionists. But again, like, I feel like all of the dreams that we imagined, it's going to come true. It's just not right now at this time frame. So like maybe, yes, it's nice to put a stamp on like, okay, I want this done, which I'm very pro for. But sometimes, like Jeffrey says, we can't give it a deadline. We can't give it a date because it may not be in the cards for that point in time.
Exactly. And the only thing that so far for 2022 is the vlogs. It's the only thing that I said that we're not gonna give it a specific date or post, but you'll catch us here every Saturday for sure. And it's January 1st on the Saturday. So once again, Happy New Year. And thanking you guys for tapping in with us and chilling with us as we go back and forth about, you know, whatever we want. So yes, if you guys want to learn more about us, we definitely do have a vlogging channel with our family. JK and Counting, which is on YouTube. And we're also on Instagram as JK and Counting. And that will be in the description too of this podcast.
We're also going to place snippets of this podcast on Instagram. So share with your friends. This podcast Instagram would be Just Chillin' with JK. And we'll also leave that in the description box as well.
We don't know how to conclude yet, but we'll talk to y'all later.
We will talk to you in the next episode.
Thanks for chilling with us.
Comment, share with your friends if you really liked it. And yeah, talk to you next time.
Just chilling with JK. Hey, I'm Jeffrey.
I'm Crystal, and you're just chilling with JK.